The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 1, I am also a systematic person. In the 46th year of Konoha, it was a time of war, in a slightly dilapidated house on the outskirts of Konoha. It has been more than a year since I came to this world, but I still haven't accomplished anything. Isn't it said that all travelers have their own benefits? How come I, Natsum Yang, don't have one? I don't want any particularly powerful cheats, just give me any system. Xia Muyang, who was just 10 years old this year, was sitting on the ground, with a little injury on his face, and sighed sadly. Ding, the Wanjia mission system has been bound successfully. The main mission has started, World Peace, the side mission has started, stand out from the crowd, do you accept it? This. Hearing the mechanical sound coming from the depths of his mind, Xia Muyang was stunned for a moment, and then he couldn't help but feel happy. This can be regarded as a prophecy, and all your wishes come true. It's just that this wish came true so suddenly that Natsum Yang couldn't react for a while. Before accepting it, should you tell me what this Wanjia mission system is? Natsum Yang complained in his heart. The 10,000 Realms mission system, as the name suggests, the host will travel through different worlds and perform various tasks. According to the tasks sent by the system, the host will grow step by step. After completing the tasks in the current world, it will travel to other worlds again and continue to perform tasks until the ultimate task is triggered. Before completing the ultimate task, the host cannot stop performing the task, otherwise the host will be obliterated. Hiss, it's so cruel to kill me so cruelly. Xia Muyang couldn't help complaining in his heart, and suddenly felt a little numb on his scalp. There will be no pie in the sky. The system and the host are just making equal exchanges. If the host does not accept the system's request, the system will immediately terminate the transaction with the host and delete all memories with this system. The cold voice of the system sounded, but Xia Muyang quickly said, No, 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 I'm just talking, don't take it seriously. Just kidding, I finally got a golden finger, and Xia Muyang won't let him slip away no matter what he says. The system can read certain data of the current world and synthesize basic ninjutsu and special memes, which can be redeemed in the mall with gold coins. If the experience value reaches the specified standard, you can break through to the next level. What do you mean by special means? Xia Muyang asked. Such as blood inheritance limits, secret techniques, magical weapons, etc. If the host meets the requirements, the system can help the host synthesize it and complete the learning process. The system's cold voice answered Natsum Yang's question. Does the host have any questions? Natsum Yang replied, Not yet. I'll ask if you need more. The newbie gift package has been sent, host please check it. The voice of the system then sounded in the young man's mind, and then the young man felt that there was something more in his head. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining E-level ninjutsu clone technique, D-level ninjutsu clone technique, 10 detonating charms, taijutsu lion continuous bomb, a chakra refining method, and a genin experience value. It is indeed a gift package for beginners, it is indeed comprehensive. Now, I can finally live in this world. Also, I will no longer be the tail end of the crane. Those who bully me, just wait, I will make you look good. Natsum Yang, in his previous life, was an ordinary graduate of Shenlong Kingdom. After being hit by a car, he traveled to the world of Naruto. Both his parents died when he was young. He only had this shabby house to keep him company. Therefore, he was often bullied and lived a life without adequate food and clothing. He knows very well what kind of world the Naruto world is. The principle of survival of the fittest is followed here, which is cruel and bloody. One bad move, and Natsum Yang will become cannon fodder in the hands of the strong, and then die meaninglessly. To get rid of the fate of cannon fodder, he must have enough strength so that he can control his own destiny. In that case, let's get started quickly. As long as he has chakra, Natsum Yang will immediately change from a scumbag to a qualified ninja with genin strength, taking the first step to become stronger. Without delay, Natsum Yang immediately opened the scroll on the chakra refining method in his head. Chakra, energy extracted from billions of cells in the body, is composed of physical energy and mental energy. The first sentence is a concise introduction to chakra and also points out the method of refining chakra. Natsum Yang closed his eyes and began to refine chakra. But God is like this. When you want to do something seriously, there will always be obstacles in every possible way, and you will not be able to achieve it smoothly. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 2, since you came to the door yourself, I won't be polite. Ding! A malicious approach has been detected. Issue a mission, teach the source of the evil a lesson and make it beg for mercy. Reward, +2 experience points, +10 gold coins, and free use of the mind control spell, soul control spell once. Xia Muyang suddenly heard a mission prompt in his head, and he still didn't understand what was going on. But the next moment, he understood what was going on. Bang! The door to Natsum Yang's house fell down with a sound, splashing dust all over the ground. This is a member of the Uchiha clan, with a very arrogant expression. Hey, Natsum Yang, it's time to pay the protection fee. As soon as this man came in, he started smashing everything. The old house, which was already dilapidated, suddenly became a mess. The puppy Natsum Yang raised was also trampled to death, dripping with blood. The vegetable garden in front of the lobby was even more wantonly ruined by this person. Uchiha Junyi, stop it. As soon as Natsum Yang came out, he saw the tragic situation outside and couldn't help but cry out angrily. Yo, trash, Ken is out. Hearing this, the man known as Uchiha Junyi turned around, but did not stop. Stop. Do you think it's possible? Don't forget who you are talking to. I told you, stop it. Xia Muyang rushed forward and kicked out angrily. Now he is no longer what he used to be, and he will no longer be easily bullied by others. Bang! Two young thighs collided together, there was a slight sound of wind, and both of them took a few steps back. Uchiha Junyi dared to be so arrogant, so he naturally had some capital. Uchiha Junyi, my tolerance does not mean that I am afraid of you. Since you have bullied me many times, don't blame me for being rude today. The system gave him the lion bullet. Although it cannot have the desired effect without chakra, it is more than enough to deal with Uchiha Junyi. Lion combo. Uchiha Junyi felt his eyes flicker, and Natsum Yang appeared in front of him, making him step back involuntarily. However, before he could stand firm, his chin was suddenly hit hard and Natsum Yang kicked him away. Bang! Uchiha Junyi never imagined that Natsum Yang would suddenly become so powerful. He hit the wall hard and cried out in pain while clutching his chest. Damn it, you guy! Uchiha Junyi stood up, quickly rushed towards Natsum Yang, and punched Natsum Yang in the face. However, what greeted him was a punch to the head. Poof! Uchiha Junyi flew backwards again, spitting out a mouthful of blood involuntarily. Damn it, when did this guy become so powerful? I'm not even his opponent. I miscalculated. It's better to retreat quickly. When I find someone, I'll see what other tricks he can make, just want to rush out of the door. It's not that easy to find someone. Go back to me. Natsum Yang's physical training over the past few years was not in vain. With one lunge forward, Uchiha Junyi blocked the door with one step, and then punched Uchiha Junyi on the bridge of the nose. Ouch! Uchiha Junyi received a heavy punch on the nose. Suddenly, sour, sweet, and salty things all came out together, just like opening a sauce shop. You really think I'm easy to bully, don't you? I don't want you to know how powerful I am, but you really think I'm a piece of cake, and you're becoming more and more unscrupulous. Natsum Yang threw Uchiha Junyi to the ground, and then directly rode on Uchiha Junyi's body. His fists fell on Uchiha Junyi's face mercilessly, and he beat Uchiha Junyi in one fell swoop. His nose was bruised and his face was swollen, but his former arrogance could still be seen. Spare my life, I don't dare to do it anymore. Natsum Yang, I really won't dare to do it again, I promise. Seeing that Natsum Yang had no intention of stopping, but instead punched and kicked harder, Uchiha Junyi couldn't help but panic, and begged even harder. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 3, you bad old man, I believe your evil deeds. I swear, I will never dare to do it again. If I violate it, I will die. Seeing that Natsum Yang was still unmoved, Uchiha Junyi also became fierce. He ignored the tears on his face and directly swore a poisonous oath to Natsum Yang. But he was thinking in his heart, damn Natsum Yang, when I go out, I will make you look good. I want you to repay this shame twice. Ha, if I believe you, you are a ghost. You must be thinking now that when you escape, ask someone else to teach me a lesson. Natsum Yang knew what kind of person Uchiha Junyi was, so he would not let him go so easily. No, 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 absolutely not, I promise, absolutely not. Uchiha Junyi couldn't care less about the blood all over his face, his head was shaking like a rattle, his eyes were extremely innocent. He thought in his heart, damn it, when did this guy become so sophisticated and yet he is unmoved by this? Please, please let me go, I won't dare to do it next time. Uchiha Junyi begged with tears in his eyes. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the mission. The experience value is +2 and the gold coin is +10. Do you want to use the mind control spell, the soul control spell immediately? Yes. Xia Muyang glanced at the introduction below the soul control curse, and couldn't help but smile. With the soul control spell, Uchiha Junyi is just a doll in his hand, he can play with it however he wants. Okay, I will believe you this time. If you dare to bother me again in the future, don't blame me for being rude. Natsum Yang, wait for me. As soon as Natsum Yang let go of his hand, he saw Uchiha Shunryu, who had turned into a pig's head. He immediately stood up like a carp and then ran towards the door as if he was running away. But just halfway through, he suddenly saw a look of panic on his face and stopped at the door like a sudden break. Natsum Yang, what did you do to my body? Uchiha Junyi looked at Natsum Yang and asked in horror. I didn't do anything. I just saw that you were so naughty, so I moved a little bit to make sure you couldn't escape from my grasp. How about it, the effect is good. Xia Muyang said with a devilish smile. What do you want? Uchiha Junyi's voice was trembling. I don't want to do anything, but who told you to bully others too much? You must hate me in your heart now. What do you think I can do to make you stop hating me? Natsum Yang squinted at Uchiha Junyi, it made him shiver for no reason. Well, just kowtow to me a few times, and then run to the street and shout, I am a pig, I am a dog, I am not as good as a pig or a dog. Then slap yourself 200 times and I'll let you go, okay? Xia Muyang looked kind and had a bright smile. No, you are the devil. Uchiha Junyi shouted in horror. If he really does this, he, Uchiha Junyi, will be finished. How will he have the face to face the Uchiha clan in the future? Okay, it seems that you agree with my idea, so let's settle it. Natsum Yang waved his hand and thought, and saw Uchiha Junyi's body suddenly trembling, and then his face turned red to the color of pig liver as he knelt in front of Natsum Yang, and then kowtowed. Natsu. Eyes. Yang. You will be punished. As a member of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Junyi had never experienced such humiliation before, he roared in despair. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 4, systematic and easy to handle. Why, do you feel uncomfortable? Why didn't you have this idea when you were dealing with this body? What if you did it yourself? There was no emotion in Xia Muyang's eyes, which was so cold that it was scary. Everything you did to insult me back then, I will pay you back tenfold today. Let today's experience become a nightmare for your life, so that you will never dare to provoke me again. If I don't let you know how powerful I am, how can you grow up? Where's the memory? As soon as he finished speaking, Uchiha Junyi felt that his body was completely out of his control. He rushed out of Natsum Yo's house like a puppet and ran all the way to the streets of Konoha. Then, everything started to go according to Natsum Yang's ideas. For a time, everyone looked at Uchiha Junyi like a monkey, as if he was possessed, and they all made fun of him, destroying Uchiha's fragile self-esteem step by step. In the end, Uchiha Junyi's father appeared in person and took away Uchiha Junyi. The farce was over, but Uchiha Junyi's face had been completely disgraced, and everyone would remember the day when he made a fool of himself. Uchiha Junyi, it's completely over. Erase memory. The moment Uchiha Junyi's father took him away, Natsum-yo used the soul control spell to eliminate all the memories of this in his mind. In this way, Uchiha has absolutely no evidence to prove that he did it. Even if suspicion is raised on himself, he does not dare to do anything to himself. Sure enough, in this world, if you don't be ruthless, you won't survive at all. He took a breath and brought up the attribute panel. Host, Natsum-yang. Playing, Naruto World. Age, 10 years old. Skills, Clone, Hold, Lion Continuous Bomb. Status, 12/100. Gold coins, 110. Level, Genin. Weapons, none. The experience value of a Genin is only 10 points, while the level of 6 paths is as high as 1 million. What a huge gap. Natsum-yang glanced at the experience value of the final level, 6 paths, and couldn't help but sigh. The system arranges the number of experience points according to the decimal system, with 100 for Chunin, 1000 for Jounin, 10,000 for Shadow level, and 100,000 for Super Shadow level. When the experience value is reached, you can break through to the next level. In terms of gold coins, the novice gift package gave Natsum-yang 100 gold coins, which can be used to purchase any item in the system mall. Items can be found in the Naruto world, or they can be synthesized by the system. Is this chakra? About 4 or 5 hours later, Xiaomuyang suddenly felt a faint breath of energy coming from his dantian. It seems that my talent is not low. Natsum-yang is still a little proud of being able to refine chakra so quickly. After all, generally speaking, it usually takes a day or two to refine the first trace of chakra from having no chakra. Only a genius can refine chakra within a few hours. Take a bath and continue refining. It was already dark. Natsum-yang took a simple bath, and after eating a meal, he immediately sat cross-legged on the bed and continued to refine chakra. The next morning. One night of training finally made me reach the level of a genin. His attribute panel has also changed. Host, Natsum-yang. Playing, Naruto World. Age, 10 years old. Skills, Clone, Hold, Lion Continuous Bomb. Status, 21/100. Gold coins, 110. Level, Genin. Weapons, none. Ninja School. When Natsum-yang walked into the classroom, he was surprised to find that Uchiha Junyi had come to school. I couldn't help but look at him a little more, but Uchiha Junyi regarded it as mocking him. Yesterday, there were too many such eyes looking at him. Natsum-yang, you dare to mock me, you idiot. I think you are impatient. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 5, even though you look down on me, if you win, I lose. Bang! But when Uchiha Junyi threw a punch, Natsum-yang raised his hand to deal with it. Then, he saw his right arm spread out and knocked Uchiha Junyi away. You guy! Uchiha Junyi rushed over again angrily. He believed that it was just an accident. Try it. Natsum-yang glanced at Uchiha Junyi with cold eyes and activated the soul control spell. Suddenly, he felt as if he was struck by lightning, and fell to the ground tremblingly. Then he looked at Xiaomuyang in horror, as if Xiaomuyang was some kind of evil spirit. This is right. You are very good. Xiaomuyang couldn't help but smile. The ability of the soul control spell was very useful, and then he sat down in his seat. Uchiha Junyi no longer poses a threat to him for the time being. Damn it! Uchiha Junyi stood up from the ground angrily. In the public, he was actually frightened by a crane tail. Where did he, Uchiha Junyi, put his face? TSK, how embarrassing, Uchiha Junyi. You are actually frightened by a loser like Natsum Haru. Fortunately, you are still a member of the Uchiha clan. You have completely embarrassed the Uchiha clan. Okay, sit tight for me, don't blame me for being rude if you make Uchiha look bad again. Just when Uchiha Junyi was furious, a very arrogant and contemptuous tone came from the door of the classroom, which made Uchiha Junyi stop involuntarily. A gloomy look flashed on his face, and then he returned to his position obediently. This is a rather arrogant young man, 1 head taller than Natsum-yang, with pigtails tied behind his head, a stern face, and menacing eagle eyes. His name is Uchiha Yusuke, and like Uchiha Junyi, he is also one of the people who bullies Natsum Yang, and he is the one who bullies the most. Speaking of which, it was thanks to him that Natsum-yo was able to change his body and be reborn. But he is indeed a genius. Apart from Uchiha Shisui, he has no opponent. He has the capital to be arrogant. I didn't see it. It was quite hidden before. But unfortunately, waste is waste after all. No matter how hard you try, you can only be a sidekick. You can never compare with the genius. He came to Xiaomuyang, he mocked condescendingly. You just call me a loser, as if you are very powerful, and I haven't seen anyone as famous as Uchiha Shisui. It seems that apart from being very good at talking, I don't think I'm any good at that. Being called a waste by others, Natsum Yang was of course not polite and directly fought back. He needed to be patient before, but now, he doesn't need it at all. Because he is the Natsum Yang of the Shenlong Empire, not the Natsum Yang of the Naruto world. The same name can mean a different character. You are looking for death. Uchiha Yusuke directly waved his arm and punched Natsum Yang. Natsum Yang immediately responded with a punch, but was completely defeated by Uchiha Yusuke's power and was directly blown away. Humph, I didn't overestimate my abilities. I thought I was so powerful, but it turns out I'm still as useless and weak as before. Bullying you has made my hands dirty. Looking at Natsum Yang who was struggling to stand up from the ground, Yusuke Uchiha snorted disdainfully, turned around and walked towards his seat. His arrogance made him even disdain to punch Natsum Yang a second time. That guy Natsum Yang actually dares to provoke Yusuke Uchiha, he really doesn't know how to live or die. Who says it's not the case? I was beaten so badly last time, but I didn't expect to learn my lesson. Perhaps he wants to attract our attention in this way. No matter what the reason is, we just want to watch the show. The people around him whispered in a mocking tone. Ding, I sensed that the host was being ridiculed and looked down upon. Release mission, challenge Yusuke Uchiha and defeat him. Reward, experience value +4, gold coin +10, achievement title, blockbuster. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 6, there are always people daydreaming. Uchiha Yusuke, in the afternoon practical class, one-on-one duel, you dare to fight. Natsum Yang looked at Uchiha Yusuke, pretending to be angry and shouted. Humph, since you insist on asking for abuse, what can I not dare to do? Uchiha Yusuke agreed, not taking Natsum Yang seriously at all. System, what is the use of this blockbuster title? Can it increase the actual combat effectiveness? After issuing the challenge, Xiaomuyang ignored the pity looks of everyone and returned to his seat. It cannot increase the host's actual combat power, but it can increase the host's charm and fame, and double the luck in the lottery, the system answered mechanically. Okay, there is still such an operation. After receiving the system's answer, Xiaomuyang couldn't help but roll his eyes and couldn't help complaining, if you don't want to be rewarded, just say so, come up with some title to fool me. There's a good show to watch, the people around thought in their hearts. The boring theoretical classes in the morning have passed, and finally it's time for the practical classes in the afternoon. The fifth training ground. In the practical class, you will compete with each other. You will be divided into 16 groups. You will fight in pairs until one party admits defeat. I will record the results for you. Do you understand? Natsum Yang and his class teacher are a genin who retired from the battlefield, so he speaks very directly. The first group, Yusuke Uchiha, Tenshin Hinata. From the beginning, it was a confrontation between two young men from big families. Teacher, can I change my opponent? I want to challenge Natsum Yang. However, as soon as the genin teacher made the announcement, Uchiha Yusuke raised his hand and proposed to challenge Natsum-yo. Are you sure it's him you want to challenge? What is there about him that's worthy of your challenge? Hearing this, the genin teacher casually glanced at Natsum Yang with a rather contemptuous tone. Yes, I want to challenge him. Uchiha Yusuke replied affirmatively. Okay, let's get started, Natsum Yang, why don't you hurry up and get on the field? The genin teacher urged Natsum Yang to come on with an unhappy look on his face. How many moves can he take from Yusuke Uchiha? One move or two? Or maybe, you can't even exert your full strength. With how cowardly he is, he shouldn't even dare to take action, someone around said, watching the show. What is the harsh reality of the world and what is the cruel reality? This is it. If you have no strength, no one will look down on you. Natsum Yang, come on, let me see how long you can last in my hands, don't let me defeat you with just one move. After the genin teacher announced the start, Uchiha Yusuke waved to Natsum Yang, indicating that he could start the attack. If that's the case, then I'm offended. Seeing this, Natsum Yang immediately mobilized all his strength, stepped hard, and rushed towards Uchiha Yusuke at top speed like a cheetah. In front of my Sharingan, your speed is just a joke. Uchiha Yusuke directly opened the Sharingan, which immediately attracted a chorus of exclamations and envy. Bang! Natsum Yo's attack was seen through by Uchiha Yusuke and blocked. So, get out of my way. Uchiha Yusuke instantly changed his hand, grabbed Natsum Yang's fist tightly, and then threw him out. Art Fire Escape Fireball. After throwing Natsum Yang out, Uchiha Yusuke put his hands together and quickly formed seals. Then, in front of the horrified eyes of everyone, he spit out a half-meter-large fireball and bombarded Natsum Yang. Bang! Before Natsum Yang could react, he was hit by a fireball and hit the wire fence on the training ground. Everyone onlookers couldn't help but shook their heads and said, it's over. After all, the difference in strength is so big. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 7, is this guy cheating? Huh, Natsum Yang, there's no need to struggle, you will never be my opponent. Seeing this, Yusuke Uchiha couldn't help laughing proudly, and turned around to return to the team. Really, Uchiha Yusuke, you think too highly of yourself. At this moment, Xiaomuyang's cold voice came again, making everyone couldn't help but look again. Lion Combo. Uchiha Yusuke turned around in surprise, only to see a fist quickly enlarged in his eyes, with a fierce fist wind, and his pupils could not help but shrink into needle-like shapes. Bang! However, Uchiha Yusuke, who was hit by Natsum Yang like this, turned into smoke with a bang, and his voice came again in the smoke, Fire Escape Fireball Technique. A fireball as big as a fist came straight towards Natsum Yang's face. Certainly. But faced with this scorching fireball, Natsum Yang actually just uttered the word ding, and stopped the fireball. How is it possible to fix the body? Everyone watching couldn't help but shout, that was a D-level ninjutsu, how did Natsum Yang, a low-level person, learn it? My body can't move. Uchiha Yusuke only felt as if his body was imprisoned, unable to move at all. Lion Combo. Natsum Yang attacked again, but Uchiha Yusuke could only watch, unable to resist. He did not see the sweat on Xiaomuyang's forehead. Trapping Uchiha Yusuke was not that easy for him. Furthermore, the holding technique is a very magical ninjutsu. It is only effective against ninjutsu and genin. No matter how powerful the user is, it will not be effective against ninjas higher than chunin. Bang! Uchiha Yusuke was kicked in the chin by Natsum Yo, and then he was kicked again in the back. There was a sound of broken bones. Drink! Natsum Haru gave a sharp shout and was about to strike again. If he was allowed to follow through with this kick, Yusuke Uchiha might be seriously injured. The genin teacher could not bear this responsibility. Therefore, just when Natsum Yo was about to hit Uchiha Yusuke again, the genin teacher saved Uchiha Yusuke one step ahead of him. Okay, Natsum Yang, you can win this battle. The genin teacher protected Uchiha Yusuke behind him, looked down at Natsum Yang from a high position, and said in a commanding tone. Wow! The onlookers immediately burst into laughter. This was beyond their expectation. Natsum Yo, the low-ranking bastard, actually defeated the genius Uchiha Yusuke. Furthermore, looking at him, it didn't look like he was exerting all his strength. This guy has been pretending to be bad before. Is this really the same crane tail as before? I have some ability, but it's still not enough. You have no chance in front of a true genius. The onlookers had different reactions, some were surprised, some were disdainful, and some were indifferent. I don't accept it, Natsum-yang. If you come again, I don't believe that I will lose to you, a loser. But as a person involved, Yusuke Uchiha would never admit his failure. The reason why he was defeated just now was because he was too careless. Otherwise, Natsum-yang really might not be his opponent. Why, as a member of the Uchiha clan, don't you even have this kind of courage? Of course, if you want to continue the war, I'll be happy to accompany you. Natsum-yo couldn't help but mocking Uchiha Yusuke, actually taking the initiative to stir up trouble. But Natsum-yang couldn't help it. The system task completion prompt did not appear, which meant that the battle was not over. Go to hell. How could Yusuke Uchiha, a man who was so concerned about face, endure Natsum-yo's sarcastic remarks? He immediately rushed over angrily. Uchiha Yusuke, if you lose, you lose. Are you going to continue to embarrass yourself here? However, at this moment, a cold voice came from behind Uchiha Yusuke, and his progress suddenly stopped. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 8, Uchiha can't afford to lose this person. Who is it? Uchiha Yusuke suddenly turned around and asked angrily. Why is it you, Uchiha Shisui, what are you doing here? When he saw the person coming, Yusuke Uchiha couldn't help flashing a hint of displeasure on his face, and he clenched his fists involuntarily. If I don't come, wouldn't it be up to you to disgrace our Uchiha clan? Uchiha Shisui replied calmly. He was obviously the same age as Uchiha Yusuke, but his aura was more than twice as strong as him. Is this the Shunshin Shisui in the original work? So strong. Natsum-yang can clearly feel the powerful chakra contained in Uchiha Shisui's not-so-tall body. You shouldn't have anything to do with my affairs. Besides, as a member of the Uchiha clan, why do you always turn your arms outward to say good things to others? Uchiha Yusuke shouted fiercely. If you want to continue, then let me be your opponent. But Uchiha Shisui did not answer him, but instead wanted to become his enemy. That's good. I want to see how strong you are now and whether you can still keep your title as the #1 genius. Uchiha Yusuke looked eager to try. And the genin teacher actually just watched without stopping. Then come on. Uchiha Shisui responded calmly, and then disappeared in front of Uchiha Yusuke. So fast. Natsum-yang could barely see an afterimage, let alone other people. Damn it, where is it? Uchiha Yusuke was also startled. His Sharingan was fully opened, and he observed all the surrounding disturbances at 360 degrees to prevent being suddenly attacked by Uchiha Shisui. Whoops! At this moment, there was a sharp sound of breaking through the air behind Yusuke Uchiha. Yusuke Uchiha immediately turned around and shouted, "Don't even try to sneak attack me." However, when he turned around, there was no trace of Uchiha Shisui. It's here. Uchiha Shisui's voice came from behind Uchiha Yusuke again. Uchiha Yusuke turned around in shock, but he only saw a whip leg growing in size in his eyes. Poof! Yusuke Uchiha flew backwards like a sandbag, spitting out a mouthful of blood and hit the barbed wire fence. Uchiha Yusuke, you lose. After blasting away Yusuke Uchiha, Shisui Uchiha appeared in front of Yusuke Uchiha like a maggot attached to a bone and pressed the kunai between his neck. Damn it! Even though Yusuke Uchiha was extremely unwilling, he did not dare to move. He was already embarrassed and he didn't want to continue to be embarrassed. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the mission, experience value +4, gold coins +10, achievement title, Blockbuster. Then, he felt a sudden surge of heat in his body, which quickly spread throughout his body. The feeling of relief was not something that outsiders could describe. I feel like my body is a little stronger. Is it my imagination? Natsum-yang moved his palms, and he felt that his body became lighter, and he felt a sudden sense of strength. Natsum-yang, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. After Uchiha Yusuke admitted defeat, Uchiha Shisui removed the kunai, then walked up to Natsum-yang and said with a hint of apology. It doesn't matter, you don't need to apologize to me. In the end, it has nothing to do with you, does it? Uchiha Shisui doesn't need to apologize for Uchiha Yusuke's matter. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 9, you really know how to pour cold water on the system. That's good, bye. After saying that, Uchiha Shisui flashed and disappeared in front of everyone. After all, he is the man with the will of fire in the original work, which is indeed extraordinary. Teacher, announce the result. I think the winner should be obvious. Seeing the surprised expressions on everyone's faces, Natsum Yang looked at the genin teacher and said indifferently. Natsum Yang, win. Even though the genin teacher didn't want to admit it, it was the fact and he had to announce the result. The second group, Sun Xiang Tian Xian, Moonlight Blast. The genin teacher then reported the list of the second group's duel, which was also a duel between family members. Natsum Yang naturally cannot let go of such a battle. Whether it is the Hyuga clan, which will become the largest family in Konoha in the future, or the Moonlight clan, which has begun to decline, their heritage is there, so you can learn a lot from watching their battles. However, the gap between common people and family children is really big. No wonder, over the years, there are only a few people who can stand out among the common people. Looking at the back-and-forth battle on the field, Xia Muyang couldn't help but sigh. While most civilians are still struggling with how to refine chakra, family members have already begun to learn ninjutsu within the family. Natsum Yang knows very well how big the gap is between having ninjutsu and not being able to do it. Defeating one Yusuke Uchiha is nothing, there are 4 or 5 others stronger than him in front of him. If I want to complete the task, I have to continue to work harder. Now is the time for a great war in the ninja world. Human life is worth less than an ant. Now on the battlefield, even if you don't have any strength, you won't be able to survive even a day. I can't slack off, after all, I don't have any extra life to waste. Although he has a system, this system is not as rich as he imagined, and it can give him some powerful equipment at every turn. However, Natsum Yang is not in a hurry. He believes that as long as he works hard enough, the system will surprise him sooner or later. It is a system after all, so he doesn't want to believe it. The system doesn't have the ability to press the bottom of the box. Natsum Yang watched everyone's competition and felt that he had benefited a lot. Ding, a copy of the host's learning insights was detected, the storage was successful, the experience value +2, the gold coin +2, and a fragment of the physical technique Konoha Tornado was obtained. At this moment, the voice of the system came from Xia Muyang's head again, and it actually triggered some of the system's functions, adding 2 experience points to him. If there are a few more trigger-type tasks like this, the progress bar will be almost full. Xia Muyang couldn't help but joke to himself. His state is almost 1/3 full. If he does this a few more times, he will be able to break through the Chunin level. Host, please note that the experience value increase triggered by insights only appears once and will not appear again in the future. Only the host's insights will be recorded and gold coin rewards will be issued. Just when Xia Muyang was secretly happy, the system unexpectedly poured cold water on him. That's it, okay. Xia Muyang touched his nose helplessly, and it was just the right time to splash the cold water on his system. The afternoon passed like this. Natsum-yo, I hope I have the chance to fight with you and defeat Uchiha Yusuke. You should be able to support me with a few moves. Before leaving, Hinata Tenshin seemed to be smiling, but in fact he proudly extended an invitation to Natsum-yo. Natsum-yang, I hope you can be more durable and can withstand my 3 attacks. Moonlight Hayate also extended an invitation to him. He was equally arrogant and did not take Natsum-yang seriously at all. The upgrade system of all realms starts from conquering Naruto Chapter 10, attention by the big guys. Humph, stupid. Woyuki Shien snorted coldly, completely looking down on Natsum Yang. Huh, let's wait and see. Xia Muyang smiled slightly, then turned and left. He secretly clenched his fists. These people who look down on him will one day need to look up to him. At Natsum Yo's home. Now, the senior management should react. While refining chakra, Natsum Yang thought in his heart. Defeating Yusuke Uchiha in public, who was considered a genius, would not shock the higher-ups, but at least it would attract some attention. Natsum Yang thought so. But he was not wrong, his behavior indeed alarmed the senior officials. If the person who defeated Uchiha Yusuke was a child of another big family, the top management would at most inform him. But if such a thing happened to a civilian student, it would be a bit unbelievable, not to mention that Bai Shuei also used ninjutsu and taijutsu lion combos. It is basically impossible for civilian children to possess chakra before graduation, and it is even more impossible for ninjutsu. This has been the truth of Konoha for many years. There are too few people who can break this law. For so many years, there is only Namikaze Minato. Moreover, this is thanks to the fact that he is the disciple of Sannin Jiraiya. In other words, Namikaze Minato is no longer a pure civilian, because he has already half-stepped into the elite class. But Natsum Yang perfectly broke this perception. A complete civilian, he rose up unexpectedly and defeated the genius children of the Uchiha family. Natsum Yang. It's interesting. I might as well try to get in touch with him to see if there is any value in cultivating him. In the dark space beneath Konoha, a middle-aged man with a pineapple head and a sinister face said in a low voice. He is in a place where light and darkness intersect, half visible and half hidden in the darkness. His eyes are sharp and breathtaking. There is also an. It is none other than the king of Konoha's darkness, the leader of the root organization who holds the power of Konoha's voice, and one of the disciples of the second Hokage, Shimura Danzo. Konoha Hokage Building, in the Hokage's office. Such a talent will appear, there is a successor to the Will of Fire. Compared to Danzo's gloominess, the third Hokage looked very happy. In today's war, Konoha maintains multiple fronts at the same time, fighting not only for materials, but also for talents. Fortunately, under the Will of Fire, talents in Konoha continue to emerge. There are seniors such as the Sannin and Ino Shikacho, among them there are the younger generation of Namikaze Minato, and later there are young geniuses such as Uchiha Shisui and Kakashi. Now, another Natsum Yang appears, how can the third generation not be happy? However, Xiao Liang has always been ordinary before this, and I haven't seen anything extraordinary. Why did he suddenly become so powerful? Well, I'd better ask him personally. Let's see if there are any problems. After all, this is a time of war, so it's better to be cautious. Although the third generation was very happy because of the sudden emergence of the genius Natsum Yang, he still did not relax his vigilance. In times of war, there is nothing wrong with being careful. Other major families also began to pay a little attention to Natsum Yang, and among them, the Uchiha family paid the most attention. But no matter what these senior officials think, it has little to do with the current Natsum Yang. Natsum Yang is not related to any force now, nor can he offend anyone, so he naturally does not need to worry about his life's safety. Besides, his most important task now is to complete the first side mission given to him by the system and become the strongest among the younger generation in 2 years. Then, work hard to become stronger, Natsum Yang, the road is long and long, so keep working hard. After Natsum Yang said something in his heart, he closed his eyes and continued to refine chakra.